So on to week 2 of what is rapidly becoming Find a Game That Isn't a Broken MOBA that attracts only the most toxic of individuals with the Repopulation. Why this game? Because I've been playing it off and on, and with the Winter Regionals coming up this week, I didn't have time to play anything new before I drive 2 hours up the road just to lose and waste some money. So this was being hyped up by a friend of mine like he was an unpopular fat girl in high school who got a whiff of Edward Cullen's hair. But I'm gonna have to be a little, understanding of this game because it's an early release title and I'm choosing to review it as such. So any bugs or glitches are short-term and most likely to be fixed. And it's not like any of the ones I've found have been game-breaking or anything, just little inconveniences here and there. But getting into the meat of this game, it's an MMO sandbox with a sci-fi theme. The plot is pretty straightforward, after all the game is called The Repopulation. So I'll give you about 3 guesses what the story is about. You can choose to be part of a faction that makes their babies the old-fashioned way, or the faction that makes their babies with test tubes. I chose the test tube babies because that's what my friend started. As to why he started test tube babies, well, I can only assume it's because we started playing in the month of Single Awareness Day and he felt a certain way about it. There isn't any sort of main quest line in this, and I like that. How many times have we played a World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy XI and been told we're the most special person in the world and our smile is the prettiest in the land, only to run a quest with another player who is also the most special person in the world with the prettiest smile in the land? This game, you're just some schmuck whipped up in a lab or your dad's Sunday pants who has been drafted into military service because you don't like the other faction because they don't breathe the way you do and that makes you mad. You more or less construct any sort of story for yourself from the multiple quests you take or by wandering around and killing random camps of barbarians. This game is incredibly complicated, or at least it is compared to games I usually play. Various attachments you pick up can only be slotted to specific pieces of equipment, but it's boiling down to trial and error rather than a well-constructed explanation as to who can equip what where. For example, a friend of mine had 3 pieces of heavy armor he couldn't seem to equip, yet I was able to. We couldn't find an adequate explanation as to why he couldn't equip this armor, and unlike me, he reads the overabundance of text in these games. The only conclusion we could come to was my character was taller and thus was able to equip said item. That's most likely wrong, but it's the only reasoning we could come up with. Speaking of not bothering to read any of the game's text, there's a problem in gaming when you're not given enough information, but there's a similar problem when you're given too much. To properly go through the tutorial area of the game takes hours for your first time. I'm not a fan of that. I'm the type of guy to be thrown to the sharks and figure out the solution on my own. A game is good when it guides the player through gameplay to teach. Obviously, with games like MMOs, it's a bit more complicated than jump over the Goomba because of reasons, but that's no excuse for being bombarded with more information than, at the time, you know what to do with. I'm not entirely sure how they can fix this though. There's a lot to the game and it's not exactly something you can sum up in a single paragraph. They could make item searching easier though. When I'm on the auction house looking for a helmet, that's all I'm looking for. A helmet. Just take a look at how long these lists are. Now, this could just be me being retarded with the game, and if so, fair enough, but it still feels ridiculous. But the big question, did I have fun with it? Yes, when I was playing with friends, no when by myself. By myself, I couldn't get interested in anything going on, but when I was with a group of people, we had a fun time taking various enemy camps, completing quests, and indulging in some small-time distractions. Here's the thing though, MMOs aren't my type of thing. Grinding out levels or picking flowers to sell to NPCs just so I can have the money to buy 1/15 of an item for a side quest isn't fun to me. It's work. I don't have time for this sort of game. It's only a matter of time before my more obsessive friends outdo my character by such a large degree I can't play with them anymore. So if you're interested in a complex sandbox to play in with a steep learning curve, I'd hold out until you can get this one on sale. Even though I don't particularly like MMOs, I don't think this is a bad game, but I don't think this is worth the $40 I paid for it.